Hello, hello. Okay.
I feel like, I don't know, like double iron mesh just gives you get great coverage, and especially with the rock side being nerfed so much, I feel like there is no real reason that you wouldn't want to run rock side anymore. It just doesn't really make any sense at all. Yes, you're going to be able to hit maybe Pokemon like Ho definitely better because everything is resistant against Ho when you are fast move here. But you have so many more neutral matchups, for example, here against the Landorus, where you're just going to be better off having the double iron badge, where you're going to have this.
Why is the NBA dying?
You know how much league pass costs?
Like, league pass, and you don't even get all the games.
You don't even get the games in your own city.
You don't get the Laker game.
Yeah.
On the floor. Technical foul, Luka. He waved him off.
Here's that way. And somebody else, or is it a dunk out?
Westbrook seeks inside. 7 for Westbrook. Technical foul on Westbrook.
Have you ever watched a game where an NBA player just gives another a simple glare and boom, they're slapped with a technical foul? Or how about a player clapping in frustration only to get hit with a tech?
Oh, yeah. He really tapped himself for technical.
It's crazy to think, but stuff like this is actually happening in the NBA right now.
Turnaround jumper. Foul Morant. And John's got to watch his reaction. He already is sitting on one technical foul.
I get it. This is basketball, not WWE. But the NBA and its referees have gotten so soft that even the slightest hints of drama get shut down with a whistle. And honestly, this is just one of the reasons viewership is dropping. Because here's the thing, drama sells.
Pretty play. A 9-1 run, Minnesota. Oh, come on, man. No way. No way.
Take the UFC, for example. When Conor McGregor was in his prime and gearing up to fight Floyd Mayweather, the drama was off the charts. I mean, those press conferences alone were pulling in more views than some NBA Finals games. Don't believe me? Check this out. The Toronto press conference for Mayweather versus McGregor racked up 8.4 million views on YouTube alone. Now, compare that to the 2020 NBA Bubble Finals, which averaged just 7.4 million viewers. That's the power of drama, and yet the NBA wants no part of it. For example, Giannis got a technical here for simply looking at Al Horford after a dunk. Jason Tatum got hit with one here for just hanging on the rim after making a big play. And then here's Jokic, the league's best player, getting ejected over, well, basically nothing.
Must be a technical.
Oh, they threw Jokic out of the game.
I get that the NBA wants to avoid another Malice in the Palace incident, but this complete lack of drama and technical fouls at every corner is turning fans away. Bulls fans booing the refs for ejecting Jokic shows how bad of a call it is. My dad took my 9-year-old nephew to his first basketball game, and his favorite player got ejected early in the third for nothing. This is absolutely disgusting. And this one, which perfectly sums up the 2025 season. Refs got more highlights than anybody that got drafted this year.
That's outrageous. What happened tonight, this is completely BS. This is shame.
Officials who are too quick to blow their whistles, eject players, or change the outcome of games while eliminating any possible drama are just one of the many reasons NBA viewership is in a free fall.
We've got breaking news. LeBron is a Laker.
Breaking news. Kevin Durant is headed to Phoenix.
Portland is sending Damian Lillard to the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis and Dame, that is a scary thought.
Piggybacking on my earlier point about the lack of drama, another reason NBA viewership is dropping is the complete lack of heated rivalries.
The other thing is the rivalries with the NBA. I'm not going to hold you. I want that. I miss that. I liked it when people didn't like each other and was really trying to go at each other.
In the UFC, for example, we want to see John Jones fight Tom Aspinall, not watch them train together and be buddies. The reality is, NBA players switch teams faster than a game of hot potato these days. As a result, there aren't many rivalries anymore, and rivalries bring drama. And as I mentioned earlier, drama sells, which is another area the NBA is lacking right now.
Maybe that's just maybe that little toxic side of me. You feel me? I just like conflict.
Not just individual players, but like doesn't even feel like there's team rivalries anymore. Like a Lakers-Celtics game, it's like whatever now, you know?
Kevin Durant, for example, he's one of the greatest players of the last decade, but how can home fans get emotionally invested when he leaves his team every couple of years? Then there's LeBron James. While many of the younger generation consider him the GOAT, he's notorious for jumping ship whenever the going gets tough. By constantly avoiding long-term battles, he's also avoided building the kind of rivalries that fans crave. And now, according to what I heard recently, he's reportedly interested in teaming up with Golden State and joining arguably his biggest rival, Steph Curry, all because his Lakers experiment has turned into a complete disaster. Where's the loyalty? Where's the drama? Then, like I said, whenever young players try to create rivalries like Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham, the NBA is quick to blow the whistle and put out the fire immediately.
That's right, Jalen Green! We did it! We did it! Oh!
As one fan put it, the fact they gave a tech for that summarizes everything wrong with today's soft NBA. God forbid somebody shows some emotion. So, the other day, I came home exhausted and just wanted to relax by watching my favorite team play basketball. I fire up my league pass and then, bam, I get hit with this. Yeah, for some reason the NBA blocks out home games for everyone on their League Pass app, making it ridiculously hard for fans to watch their favorite team.
So you got to buy cable for your own teams, and then you got to buy League Pass to get the League Pass stuff. So what ends up happening is the distribution of games now. They're harder to find.
Look at this Reddit post from 2 years ago that really sums things up. I have TNT as well as League Pass, but it won't let me watch the Bucks-Warriors game on TNT due to a regional blackout. What the am I supposed to do? Why the does the NBA make it so hard to watch the product? To which someone replied, it's really funny to me. I live in Vegas, but I can't watch the Clippers or Kings. If I move to a different zip code 10 minutes east, I also cannot watch the Lakers on top of the Clippers and Kings. They just make up. The truth is, many NBA fans have a specific team they love to watch, usually their home team. But the NBA makes it so frustrating to follow them. Oftentimes, you don't know if the game is going to play on League Pass, TNT, ESPN, or some other random channel. With all this hassle, it's so much easier to just tune into something else, especially in a world overflowing with entertainment options. This is yet another reason why NBA viewership keeps dropping.
You know what I mean? Words was thrown out there that shouldn't be thrown out there between, you know what I mean, two men. And so that kind of just drew the line for me. And I'm one of those, once you're on one side, bro, you stay in there.
You might be wondering why I included that clip of Paul George on his podcast, where he shares why he's no longer a fan of Chris Paul, in a video titled, Why the NBA is Dying. Well, let me explain, or better yet, let this man explain.
So, Podcast P, I want to pull this up before I say it. This season, 10 games played, 16 podcast episodes, salary $49 million. Are you getting paid for the podcast, or are you getting paid to play? How you got more podcast episodes than games played?
Story Mode featuring Jamal Crawford, the Drew Holiday episode, season 3 premiere. Paul George has been dropping podcast after podcast on his Podcast P channel, and while they're great episodes, they highlight a trend among NBA players that they don't seem to care about the league anymore. To them, the NBA feels like a stepping stone or a paycheck. And you know what? The fans can feel that vibe.
I don't like the NBA. Why not the NBA? Don't give a...
Anyway, when it comes to Paul George specifically, just listen to what this one Philly fan had to say.
I just slept until 5 p.m. And I woke up and looked at my phone, and I see a Paul George podcast featuring Reggie Jackson the day after Paul George drops 2 points and leaves the game with another leg injury.
It wouldn't be fair to put all the blame on Paul George because this is a much bigger league-wide trend. Take Zion Williamson, for example, one of the most hyped prospects in recent NBA history. Instead of focusing on the game, he seems to care more about food than basketball.
Is it hard to diet at your age? Be honest.
It's you, I'll be real. There are times when I would say, man, that shit hard. It's hard, man. Like 20, 22, a lot of money. Feel like all the money in the world.
Then there's Ben Simmons, once hailed as the next LeBron James. He's earning tens of millions of dollars, but still hasn't bothered to develop a jump shot. I mean, in this clip, he misses practically every mid-range jumper. And let's not forget the countless other players who just show up to play, but don't seem to care whether they win or lose.
In the NBA, you lose, you still getting money. And I know for sure, like, after you lose, you're like, damn, I lost. You be hurt. Look at your bank account, $35 million. College, you really lose. You're done.
That's it. I know this doesn't apply to every player. So,
Stage 1.
genuinely care about winning, and that's the reason why fans love them. But the harsh truth is that the majority of players, even some superstars, don't seem to show that passion. And if they don't care, why should viewers bother tuning in?
In the words of the great Steph Curry, we can tell Donald Trump, night, night.
I'm not here to dive into politics, but another big reason the NBA is losing viewership is its polarizing stance on political issues.
Me and my friends call each other that all the time. I'm not his friend, though. I don't want to see that on the note. He's not my friend.
Again, I'm not picking sides or saying which side is better, but the reality is, when the NBA chooses one side of the political spectrum, they alienate the other side of their viewers.
If there's a poll I'd be interested in, is the following. What percentage of MLB players give to the left and the right? What percentage of NHL players give to the left and the right? NBA and NFL. Which one do you think is going to be the majority of the money being given to the left? NBA. 100%. And it won't even be close.
Damn, lost a fan. I remember why I don't watch the NBA anymore. And this is the main reason I don't watch the NBA anymore. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong for NBA players to speak out about the state of the country or share their opinions on who they prefer in the White House. But based on what I've seen, it's clearly bad for business. You don't lose all the viewers from the opposing political side, but you definitely lose a chunk of them. And when you combine that with the lack of drama, overly abusive referees, the difficulty of watching games, and players who don't seem to care about winning, you end up with the perfect storm for plummeting viewership. Oh, and I haven't even touched on the three-point shooting yet, which has made some games almost unbearable to watch. The three-point shot was revolutionary when Steph Curry came out of nowhere, hitting impossible shots from half court. It was exciting, it was fresh. But now, when the three-point shot has become a cold, calculated algorithm, like what the Celtics are doing right now, it loses its magic. Entertainment is just too easy to find these days. Netflix, YouTube, Amazon Prime, TikTok, UFC, you name it. Sure, the NBA just signed a massive new deal and made more money than ever, but that doesn't change the fact that viewership is falling. If the league wants to bounce back and dominate the entertainment world again, they need to seriously rethink many aspects of their business. Not that I'll ever stop watching, though. As a super fan, I can't get enough of the NBA. I mean, did you all catch the game where Jordan Poole took down Nikola Jokic in a showdown absolutely no one saw coming? On a night when Jokic dropped a career-high 56 points? Yeah, Jordan Poole straight up turned into Steph Curry that night and completely took over against the best player in the world. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, don't worry, because I've got the whole story for you right over here.
I don't need no man.
Good morning. Nice day for fishing, ain't it?
Hello, adventurer. I've been plagued by a rat infestation. If you can help me slay 5 of these pesky vermin, I will reward you greatly.
I accept your request for a farmer.
Thank you for slaying those rats. Here is your reward of 10 silver.
Oh, well, if that's all you have.
Whoa! What? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all.
Hello, adventurer, and welcome to Bodge's Blacksmith. How can I help you today?
I need you to make me a very specific sword so I can finish a quest.
What kind of sword is it?
It's called an ashen sword.
An ashen sword? Well, I can only assume you're up to slay the rate of Honeywood.
You know it, dog. So can you make it for me?
Well, in short, yes, I can.
Okay, and long then?
Well, I will need you to get me a few ingredients before I can even begin.
Oh, okay, it's one of those. Yep, sure.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
3 iron ingots.
Makes sense.
One gold ingot. Okay. A green sapphire.
Green. Oh, yeah, sure.
Undead ash.
Well, it is an ashen sword.
A dragon's tooth.
Wow.
Yeah, a big one.
Oh, yeah, wow. Okay, that's going to be tricky, but sure.
A spider's eye.
Really?
An old leather shoe.
An old shoe?
Yeah, like a homeless man's shoe or something.
Oh, okay.
A broken guitar.
Oh, come on.
A half-eaten sandwich.
What?
Mashed potato.
Hang on. What do you mean mashed potato?
You know what mashed potato is, right?
Yeah, it's a potato that's been mashed, but how the hell is that going to help you make me a solid steel sword?
Starch.
What do you mean starch?
Do you want me to make you the ashen sword or not? I've got things to do.
Yes, fine, yeah.
Okay. A pigeon wing.
Right.
A dead frog.
Perfect.
A hen's tooth.
Literally impossible.
And finally, the most important part of this whole process, the reagent which holds the whole thing together, a blessed goblet from the Temple of Calibor, filled to the brim with goblin feces.
Forget it. Abandon quest. I'm done.
Oh.
I accept your request for a formula.
I grew up in Hong Kong, and I was told that my monolith eyes were undesirable since I was a child. In East Asian countries, because double lid tends to make the eye look bigger, it is considered as the desirable eye type. On the other hand, monolith tends to make the eye look smaller and lifeless, so it is considered as unattractive, especially on women. As I became a teenager, I was more aware of my appearance. I started to experiment with eyelid tapes and glues, but these tricks didn't work besides making my eyes look crazy. I suddenly clicked and I realized my eyes looked the same as my father's eyes, who passed away early in my life. I felt I could see him from my own eyes. I have learned to love my own eyes now, and I actually think they look. I grew up in Hong Kong, and I was told that my monolith eyes were undesirable since
Caucasian upper eyelids normally have a skin fold or supratarsal crease that appears with eye opening. Asian upper eyelids typically do not have an upper eyelid crease, creating what some patients feel to be an undesirable monolid. The absence of an eyelid crease is mainly due to the lack of fibrous tissue bands between the levator aponeurosis and the overlying skin and muscle. The levator aponeurosis itself is attached between the tarsal plate and eyelid muscle. With eyelid opening, the overlying skin moves with the tarsal plate, creating a skin crease. Without these fibrous bands, the skin does not move with the tarsal plate and no skin crease forms. And no skin crease forms. Asian double eyelid blepharoplasty can fabricate this upper eyelid fold by creating an artificial connection between the levator aponeurosis and skin using sutures. First, a thin strip of skin is removed from the upper eyelid. Next, a smaller amount of muscle is also removed, exposing the underlying orbital fat. The orbital fat is carefully moved superiorly to expose the underlying levator aponeurosis, which is attached to the superior tarsal plate. The levator aponeurosis connective tissue immediately above the tarsal plate is then sutured to the skin. A little bit of orbital fat may be removed before being placed back down into normal position and the skin closed. Along with creating an upper eyelid fold, more of the eye is shown with eye opening.
Asian women need eyelid surgery to look beautiful. 85% of East Asian women lack a fold in their upper eyelid, so creation of this fold is the most common operation in Asian women. Dr. Ralph Millard was an American plastic surgeon stationed in Korea during the Korean War, and he developed the techniques that are used today by performing these operations on young Korean women. And the idea is that giving an extra crease to the eyelids of young Korean brides immigrating to the United States would make them more acceptable. I think it's so important to realize that looking Asian is beautiful, whether you have an eyelid crease or not. Asian women need eyelid surgery to look beautiful. 85% of East Asian women lack a fold in their upper eyelid, so creation of this fold is the most common operation in Asian women. Dr. Ralph Millard was an American plastic surgeon stationed in Korea during the Korean War, and he developed the technique. Asian women.
All right, let's follow our map now to Wisconsin, where we learn more about the 15-year-old girl police say opened fire at a school in Madison. Police say she shot and killed a teacher and a classmate before then taking her own life on Monday. New court documents reveal the shooter brought 2 guns to the school, and she also exchanged messages with a man plotting his own attack. Now, police released the names of the 2 victims killed in that shooting. They are 14-year-old student Ruby Vergara and 42-year-old teacher Aaron West. The school described ninth grader Ruby as having a gift for art and music and a kind heart. Aaron West is remembered as a beloved teacher who always wore a smile. CBS News national correspondent Ian Lee joins us now from Madison with more on all this. Ian, thank you so much for being with us. Police say the Wisconsin shooter was in contact with a man accused of plotting a separate attack in California. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Liz, this just shows how this investigation is expanding. We know that late last night, a judge in California gave police permission to seize the weapons from 20-year-old Alexander Poppendorf He had admitted to the FBI that he was planning his own mass shooting. He was speaking with Natalie Ruffnow. He said he was going to take guns and explosives and target a government building. Now, we don't know which government building or which or what time he was going to carry that out. It is important to note that this case against him that was brought to us by our CBS affiliate in San Diego, this case is a civil action right now, not a criminal one, but it is likely moving forward, this could become a criminal case.
And Ian, police are also looking into the shooter's home life, social media activity, online activity, to search for a potential motive in all of this. What have they learned so far?
Yeah, Liz, that's something that we're still waiting to hear. And the police say they're still investigating why she would do this. But, you pointed out that they are going after her social media. And it looks like this connection to the California man, that may have been made through social media, their messaging. And that's kind of shows you how that going through that evidence, going through those accounts is leading to those sorts of leads. But to find out why she would do this, there is a lot of questions. We know she had a turbulent life. Her parents were married and divorced a couple of times. She was in therapy in 2022. These are all things that they're looking into, Liz.
CBS News national correspondent Ian Lee. Thanks so much, Ian.
Tonight, President-elect Trump slamming a deal to keep the government from shutting down just days before Christmas. The president-elect and his billionaire ally Elon Musk coming out in opposition to Speaker Mike Johnson's deal days before the deadline. So what happens now? And the major blow for Matt Gaetz, Mr. Trump's former attorney general pick. The House Ethics Committee secretly voting to release its report on him after its years-long investigation into allegations of sexual misconduct and drug use. Also tonight, California declaring a state of emergency over the bird flu after the CDC reported the first severe case in a separate state, what health officials are saying. The plunge on Wall Street after the Fed's decision to cut interest rates, the Dow falling more than 1,000 points. Its worst losing streak in 50 years. Flash flooding on the East Coast, the winter storm moving into the Northeast with rain and snow. We're tracking it all. Caught on camera, the deadly plane crash in Hawaii. The unruly passenger detained and later dying on a cruise ship. The FBI investigation. As we gear up for record holiday travel, our exclusive access inside the TSA and FBI bomb detection lab.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening and welcome in what could be seen as another sign of Elon Musk's growing influence within the Trump orbit. The president-elect joined Musk today in his call to scrap a spending bill backed by some Republicans, raising the chances of a government shutdown. Musk, tasked with tackling wasteful spending in the new administration, posted throughout the day on his X platform, demanding the spending bill be killed, calling the package put forward by Republican Speaker Mike Johnson pork barrel spending. Later, Mr. Trump delivering the death knell following Musk's lead and calling for the spending package to be scrapped, dramatically increasing the odds of a government shutdown as soon as this weekend. Meantime, there are new developments today regarding the House Ethics Committee investigation of former Congressman Matt Gaetz. Ryan Nobles is covering it all. Ryan, this new move by President-elect Trump comes as that Friday deadline is quickly approaching.
Lester, that's right. In fact, lawmakers were planning to vote on this massive spending bill as soon as tonight. But now they're left to grapple with the changes that President-elect Trump is demanding. Tonight, President-elect Trump blowing up a bipartisan spending deal worked out by House Speaker Mike Johnson, designed to keep the federal government open through March of next year. Writing, quote, "We should pass a streamlined spending bill that doesn't give Chuck Schumer and the Democrats everything they want." The bill extended government funding while also adding $100 billion for disaster aid and $10 billion for farmers. But it also included healthcare reforms and a provision allowing for pay raises for members of Congress, leading to conservative backlash. Billionaire Elon Musk, who will lead Trump's effort to cut government spending, writing, "Any lawmaker who votes for this outrageous spending bill deserves to be voted out in 2 years." Tonight, Vice President-elect Vance talking about the spending plan known as a CR.
Well, what the president believes is we should support a clean CR for long contains a debt limit increase. That's the position of the president, and that's what we're going to try to push for.
All of it coming after another surprise headline. NBC News learning the House Ethics Committee has voted in secret to release its report on former Congressman Matt Gaetz, according to two sources familiar with the process. Now the committee is set to release its findings by the end of the week. Gaetz earlier withdrew as Trump's pick for Attorney General.
I haven't been paying much attention to that.
The committee looking into allegations of sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, which Gaetz denies. Tonight, Gaetz writing, "I've never had sexual contact with someone under 18. It's embarrassing, though not criminal, that I probably partied, womanized, drank, and smoked more than I should have earlier in life. I live a different life now." A Justice Department investigation into the allegations was ultimately closed, with no charges filed against Gaetz.
Ryan, let me circle you back to the potential shutdown. Speaker Johnson is facing a really major challenge tonight.
That's right, Lester. He needs to come up with a plan B, which will likely be a slimmed down version of what he's already proposed. But that risks alienating support for some Democrats. And he needs to do it all by that deadline of midnight on Friday. Lester?
All right, Ryan Nobles, thanks. There's new concern tonight about bird flu after the CDC reported the first severe case in a person. And California declared a state of emergency because of the spread of bird flu in cattle. Our Ann Thompson has late details.
The person who has contracted this latest case of the bird flu lives in Louisiana. But unlike the 60 other cases, the CDC says this case is severe, so much so the person is hospitalized in critical condition. And while most other human cases involve commercial farm workers, this is the first case of someone getting the virus from a backyard flock, according to the CDC. How concerned are you about this case in Louisiana?
I'm very concerned, and I'm not saying that this is a cause for panic right now, but in the medium term, I think all the signs are pointing to the temperature rising with bird flu in terms of its potential impact on humans.
The CDC says the strain that has infected dairy cows is different from the one that sent the Louisiana resident to the hospital. 9 states have reported human cases of bird flu this year, and tonight California has declared a state of emergency over the outbreak to give local agencies more resources to prevent it from becoming a bigger problem.
People should be alert, they should be vigilant, but not scared. It really reminds us all to get flu shots right now, because if you get infected with both bird flu and human flu, they can exchange genes and really make a variant that is more easily able to enter the human body and make us more sick.
And joining me now, just what is the threat to the general public?
The good news is, Lester, the CDC says the threat is low. There's no evidence of person-to-person transmission. It has all been from infected animals to humans. So the advice is to avoid sick or dead animals. And if you own a backyard flock, you're a hunter or a bird enthusiast, wear personal protective gear, gloves, and mask when dealing with the animals. The same is true for farm workers.
Okay, Ann, thanks for that update. The stock markets closed sharply lower today, with the Dow falling 10 days in a row for the first time in 50 years. Today's sell-off coming after the Federal Reserve lowered interest rates by 1/4 point. Christine Romans is here. Christine, what does this mean?
Well, the rate cut was completely expected, but what wasn't, the Fed signaling that next year it will slow the pace of cuts. So why? Well, the U.S. economy may be too strong to be cutting rates, and inflation is improving, but it's just still too high. The Fed chief called the U.S. economy remarkable. He called the job market solid. And what's good news about the economy was bad news for stock market investors. They were banking on lower borrowing costs next year. For consumers, it means mortgage rates, car loans, credit card interest rates may not come down as quickly as hoped. Still, the Fed chief says the U.S. economy is performing very, very well overall, Lester.
All right, Christine Romans, thank you. In Russia, authorities say a suspect is under arrest after the assassination of a Russian general on a Moscow street. Keir Simmons went to the scene of that explosion earlier today.
This is the man accused of the stunning assassination of a Russian general outside his Moscow apartment, named by Russian state media as 29-year-old Akhmat Kabanov from Uzbekistan. Moscow investigators say he confessed to being recruited by Ukraine with an offer of $100,000 and safe passage to a European country. The bomb, hidden on a scooter, had been given to him, investigators say. When we reached the site today, there was still blood in the snow. Surrounded by broken apartment windows, a killing in plain sight. It took just seconds as Igor Kirillov walked from this door, a scooter laden with explosives detonated. The whole thing videoed from a camera in a car just across the road and beamed, Russian officials say, back to Ukraine.
It's really loud and I woke up.
Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov and his assistant were killed. The Ukrainian security source tells NBC News Ukraine's security services carried out the killing. 24 hours earlier, Ukraine had charged Kirillov.
Want to get back to that breaking news right there.
Two. Stayed in a little bit. 17 minus 13 is 4. 4. Nope. Four. One. Oh yeah. That took too long.
I want to address all the victims of the accident I caused. I want to address all the victims of the accident I caused. And how truly and deeply sorry I am.
Jamie Komorowski, the woman who drove drunk and killed a bride on her wedding night, wants the judge to reduce her sentence days after she learns her punishment. I'll tell you why. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Jamie Komorowski drove drunk. That's not in dispute. Her blood alcohol concentration.
Actually,
Was nearly 3 times the legal limit on April 28, 2023, when she got behind the wheel of her car and hit a golf cart carrying newlyweds Sam Miller and Eric Hutchinson, along with members of their wedding party. The crash happened on Folly Beach in South Carolina. Sam was thrown from the golf cart and killed, and Eric and his family members, Brogan Garrett and Benjamin Garrett, were seriously hurt. Samantha was thrown from the golf cart and killed as Komorowski plowed into them, driving 65 miles per hour in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. Jamie Komorowski pleaded guilty earlier this month instead of going to trial.
I take full responsibility for the tragic outcome that my decisions have made. I will carry this guilt with me for the rest of my life. And as much as I wish I could go back in time and have none of this happen, I know that cannot be done. A lesson I have learned is that just because you have good intentions or would never want to hurt anyone, if you are being responsible for your actions,
And we turn now to another polarizing issue, and that's the public reaction to the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. He was shot dead in Midtown Manhattan this month after a 6-day manhunt. The suspect, 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, has been in custody charged with murder as an act of terrorism. Since the killing, the internet has been swirling with divisive conversations about his potential motive and what it says about America's healthcare system. Gia Tolentino writes about this in her latest piece for The New Yorker, and she joins Michelle Martin to discuss what Thompson's murder says about the country.
Thanks, Christiane. Gia Tolentino, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you for having me on.
You've talked about the fact that you think the way people are talking about this publicly, because of course, you know,
Green. Six.
You design your own books or notebooks or
This is KO straight up. Straight up. It won't KO. That's why it doesn't KO.
Looks like, and the control, feel free to chime into my ear, correct me if I'm saying this incorrectly. That is Luigi Mangione. He has just been loaded into the back of this police SUV, and he is now being driven off out of that courthouse in Pennsylvania. That is just happening now. It's happening as you're watching it. The suspect in the murder of Brian Thompson, the healthcare CEO of United Healthcare. That is Luigi Mangione right now in the back of that police SUV, presumably on his way back to New York as he has just waived his right to, protesting extradition. And he is now going to be extradited to the state of New York. And so you're watching that unfold as we speak. Danny Freeman, if you're still there, Danny, what can you tell us? What are you seeing?
Yeah, Jim, I'll just say that you can see on your screens right now, this is the New York plates.
What? Huh?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
On October 18, 2019, at precisely 8:45 a.m., the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office received a chilling 911 call.
911, what is your emergency? I woke up and when I hear he was outside this morning, he was cold. He was just drinking and he's gone. I got him outside the kitchen, the bloody mess. I mean, he's not really. Why kitchen of bloody mess? Hello? I don't know. I need
Oh my god. He gave up Switch! Is it a double shield? What?
Alright, stand in line. I'm gonna connect you to fire rescue, okay?
That's right, County Fire Rescue. What's the matter for the emergency? Tell me what's wrong.
It's not responsive.
First responders quickly arrived at the college residence at 9801 White Barn Way. Upon arrival, Hillsborough officers were met by 26-year-old Melissa Turner, who was covered in blood. She told first responders the blood was from administering CPR to the victim. She immediately led them to the back of the house where her fiancé, 25-year-old Matthew Trustin, was unresponsive and cold. He was lying face up by the swimming pool with multiple stab wounds and lacerations on his body. The medical unit arrived moments later, but sadly,
That is perfectly fine.
Matthew was pronounced dead at the scene. Melissa watched as his sheet was laid over his body. Inside the home, there was a trail of blood drops that began in an office on the ground floor. Following the trail led the detective right to the family room, and then to the kitchen. The kitchen was an absolute bloodbath, with items knocked over and scattered all around the room, including a broken glass jar, multiple kitchen knives, and a switchboard. The blood trail then led to an open back window, continued into the backyard, and ended at Matthew's body. It was safe to say that a major struggle had taken place, and after bleeding out in the kitchen, Matthew used every ounce of life that he had left to escape through the window into the backyard, where he later succumbed to his injuries. All of the evidence was collected, which included a smartwatch that Matthew was still wearing, and a home security camera that was installed in the hallway of the house. As a thorough search of the residence and surrounding area commenced, Melissa was brought into the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office for an interview. Throughout the interview, Melissa provides bits and pieces of information about her and Matthew's life. Melissa was bullied as a teenager for being overweight, but as she transitioned into young adulthood, she began taking her health and wellness seriously and lost over 100 pounds. This newfound lifestyle gave her the confidence to begin sharing photos of her body anonymously through her Tumblr named Two Thorned Rose. She eventually realized that she could supplement her income if she could somehow monetize what she was doing. So she became a self-proclaimed cam girl.
I am Two Thorned Rose. I'm a cam model. I'm an artist. I love fitness.
This was only meant to be temporary, but she was quickly able to quit her 2 part-time retail jobs, and the new business became a full-time gig. In order to maximize her profits, Melissa ended up finding her niche in horror-themed cosplay adult films. Melissa was good enough at her job to be making a substantial amount of money, but some of her fans believed that she would take things too far. One viewer stated that she shot some really crazy stuff, and that she was always into blood. In 2017, she met Matthew.
I think we can.
on Tinder, and the two quickly fell for each other. After 2 years of dating, they were able to buy a house where they began building their life together. As romantic as this love story was, the detectives were more interested in the hours leading up to Matthew's death.
Let me take us, or can you take us back to yesterday? From the time you guys woke up and to kind of how we got here today.
Yeah. This is what you say.
The best that you can. That's all we're asking for.
Melissa told the detectives that the day before started like any other. She woke up at around 4:30 a.m. and worked until about 8 a.m. Afterwards, she and Matthew walked their dog. And then Melissa exercised in their garage while Matthew cleaned up around the house. They visited a Home Depot and then a Publix grocery store to grab lunch, which Matthew cooked at home. After sending some emails and doing some more cleaning, they ate dinner, ended the night with a few drinks, and played some card games.
That's what we would do on a night when we didn't have to get up and do anything the next morning. We had drinks. He always liked drinking. He was a drinker.
Would you say he had a drinking problem or not?
He had a drinking problem. Okay. His mom will tell you the same thing. He will admit it himself.
What about you?
Me? No.
Besides the alcohol last night, were there any drugs? No. We're not the drug police, so we're just asking.
No, he would never touch any of that. Because that was a deal breaker for me, and he knew that. He knew if he touched anything like that again, that he would lose me.
Okay.
The peak of Matthew's drug abuse was in 2015. He then decided to get his life back together and move in with his brother. By the time Matthew met Melissa in 2017, Matthew was still clean.
That was my number one deal breaker with him.
And I'm assuming.
So, at the drug police, he was not shy about it in his past when he was younger. He wasn't on hard drugs.
Okay.
But it's been years since then because he knew that was my number one deal breaker. He touched it again, we were done. I didn't give a shit. That was it.
What time did you go to bed last night?
I guess like I said, we were having some drinks. But I was getting really tired around 10 and I was going to go to bed. And 2:30-ish was when I remember 10:30, 11 maybe. And I remember going to curl up on the chair. Because I slept on that big chair that's in my little office area downstairs.
Apparently, Melissa slept in the next morning and woke up around 8:30 a.m.
I don't know. I normally don't sleep in. One of the time, I remember waking up and I didn't see him. I saw him in the kitchen. I didn't see him outside at first.
It's so respected.
Last night? What did you think happened? You understand from our standpoint, obviously, we weren't there last night. If you could just take your best guess at what you're talking about.
I don't know.
The detectives asked Melissa if there was a chance that Matthew's death could have been an accident.
He always told me he had a feeling he was going to die.
What the detectives didn't know yet was that back at the crime scene, the medical examiner had arrived to evaluate Matthew's body. He had a defensive wound on his right forearm, a large laceration to his chest, a small cut to the right shoulder, and a large stab wound on his back. It was clear that Matthew's death was no accident.
Do you have any injuries on your person?
No.
Any scratches or cuts or anything?
Yeah, I have a little cut. Right there.
And that's from what?
I think it's from grabbing the glass. Wait.
Do you know where?
It was a hard rock glass, I believe, in the kitchen, and I think I picked up a piece of it on the floor.
Was there any fighting or arguing last night? Do you all have a history of any kind of fighting or arguing?
Nothing. I mean, couples argue sometimes. We never really fought. We would argue.
So there was no arguing last night?
They're having a great time.
The detectives decided that now would be a good time for a break so that Melissa's injuries could be photographed and bandaged. DNA and fingerprints were also collected. During this time, they touched base with the investigators who had processed the crime scene. They learned about Matthew's defensive wounds and the stab wound to his back, ruling out the theory that Matthew could have been responsible for his own death. But there was more. While investigators were canvassing the crime scene, they learned about Matthew's defensive wounds and the stab wound to his back, ruling out the theory that Matthew could have been responsible for his own death. But there was more. While investigators were canvassing the area surrounding the crime scene, they discovered that one of the neighbors had a Nest surveillance camera which could see just over Melissa and Matthew's fence into their backyard. While this camera angle wasn't ideal, the camera also recorded audio, and an intense altercation was captured between Melissa and Matthew around 4 to 4:30 a.m. that morning.
See?
1981. With this new piece of evidence uncovered, the second half of Melissa's interview quickly turned into a full-on interrogation.
Tell me about what happened around 4 o'clock this morning. Was there an argument?
At 4 o'clock, not my knowledge.
Were you asleep at 4 o'clock?
To my knowledge, yes.
8:45 is when the call came in, so you said about 20 minutes, maybe, even if you lost track of time, say you woke up at 8. Anytime between 11 last night to 8 this morning, you haven't noticed.
No, and I know.
So we've been talking to the neighbors. There's cameras all over the neighborhood. There's ring doorbell cameras and everything.
Okay.
Around 4 o'clock this morning, something happened at your house. That's why we're asking you.
What were the neighbors saying? What?
They don't want the neighbors to see to the video. There's arguing coming from the house. It's a male and female.
If it was at 4 in the morning, I will tell you right now, I did not stay up until 4 in the morning.
Although she initially sticks to her guns, the detectives are persistent and her story quickly begins to change.
The argument was him waking me up because he was a night person, as I told you guys. Him staying up till 4 in the morning whenever he got drunk is not unheard of. I would say he woke me up. We got in an argument over that. Getting up at 4 in the morning, drunk off your ass, wasn't doing anybody any good. And that was what the argument was about then.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, you do have a memory of what happened, right? At 4 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay.
Melissa chalks up the argument to her simply being upset about a drunk Matthew waking her up at 4 a.m. But considering the intensity of the argument captured on the surveillance camera, and of course Matthew's gruesome death, the detectives believe something much more explosive happened that Melissa was not divulging. So they continue pressuring Melissa to tell the truth, and it's not long before she shares a dark death. The detectives believe something much more explosive happened that Melissa was not divulging. So they continue pressuring Melissa to tell the truth, and it's not long before she shares a darker version of her story.
Talking about it more now, thinking back on it, this is when you got me right back prison. I swear he'd never hit me, or never hit me in prison. I swear it more now, thinking back on it, this is when you got me right back prison. I swear he'd never hit me, or never hit me in prison.
4, 4. 11, 5. Dragon.
I will not let his angel down this side. But I do remember kissing him after I tried with the knife out of his hand. And being in the neck of him from me. And my brow was sore because I got hit. And I remember being thrown over the counter. He got pissed off, got a little more aggressive with what he was doing.
Okay, how did you react?
I'm scared at first. I'm not telling him about this.
How long ago was the interview? 14 or 6 hours?
As soon as Melissa asks for a lawyer, the detectives conclude the interview. As Melissa sits alone in the interrogation room, she becomes paranoid and begins to panic.
He's kidding me. No. Could you at least tell me what you got me? I feel beautiful. Thank you. Do I just get left in here now? Want to freeze me out? Please, please, come back in here. Oh, God, it's so cold. Am I not allowed a blanket or anything? Why?
Someone eventually comes back and they collect Melissa's clothes as evidence, and they bring her some McDonald's. Right after this, Melissa was arrested and charged with the second-degree murder of Matthew Trusley. In subsequent interviews with Matthew's family, they strongly denied the allegations made by Melissa regarding Matthew's mental health. The only negative thing they had to say was that Matthew had gradually grown distant from the family, which they believed was due to Melissa intentionally manipulating and isolating.
They don't.
Thanks to Melissa's lucrative career, she was easily able to pay her bond. She then participated in a media interview professing her innocence and sharing her story.
We ended up struggling back and forth with a knife. I got my hand sliced open. He had pushed me into the countertop, put her hand flex in my stomach, and then turned me around. He had his hands around my throat, losing him, losing his family. But I love his my family.
Melissa's trial began on February 14, 2022. In their opening statement, the prosecution pointed to the fact that Melissa had dialed 911 4 hours after the incident, pretending to not know what had happened. They argued that Melissa's actions and behavior before and after the incident indicated that she was a calculated killer. Additionally, the prosecutors were adamant that her inconsistent statements were attempts to deceive authorities as well as downplay her involvement. Once she realized the detectives were onto her, she fabricated a narrative of self-defense. The defense argued that Melissa did in fact act in self-defense, and that Matthew's death was a result of his own aggressive behavior. They also suggested that the neighbor's surveillance audio was manipulated to amplify Melissa's voice, making it sound louder than it actually was.
So it could be that maybe one voice on the recording was not amplified, and then another voice on the recording was greatly amplified.
Throughout the course of the trial, all of the evidence was revealed to the jury. The crime scene photos, which showed the aftermath of a brutal attack on Matthew, the bloody knives, one of which they believed to be the murder weapon, and the surveillance footage with the audio of Melissa and Matthew's argument. On top of these items, they also presented footage to the court that was recorded by a motion-activated camera that was inside Melissa and Matthew's home. At 3:39 a.m., Melissa is seen running towards the office. At 3:42 a.m., Matthew walks past the camera towards the kitchen with Melissa right behind him, a disgusted look on her face. At 4:09 a.m., she is captured stopping near the front door and talking to herself. The prosecutors pointed out a faint hue of red on her right hand, possibly blood. The defense fought against this, saying that the footage was not clear enough to draw any conclusions on the state of her hand. She turns around and heads back into the kitchen. The final clip is 4 hours later. At 8:35 a.m., Melissa can be seen wandering around the house with what appears to be a bad case of bedhead. And remember the smartwatch retrieved from Matthew's wrist back at the crime scene. Investigators analyzed the data from that watch, and it revealed that his heart stopped at 4:31 a.m., further solidifying the timeline of the crime. When it was the defense's turn to call witnesses, they made the bold decision to call Melissa herself to the stand.
There were times where he would push me and punch the walls beside my head.
he would stare off at some corners and he would tell me that there's a demon standing right there. There were times where he would talk in a different voice.
Did that frighten you?
I was terrified.
She tearfully recounted her version of events. According to Melissa, Matthew became violent during an argument. He choked her, threw her across a counter, and proceeded to grab a knife. Apparently, a head injury along with alcohol caused Melissa to black out at one point. But she still remembers when Matthew put down the knife to start strangling her again. In self-defense, she grabbed the knife off the counter and stabbed him in the back. Nearing the end of her testimony, her defense thought it was crucial to address the elephant in the room. Melissa lying to the detectives and changing her story during her interrogation.
In your first interview, you didn't go into these details with the detective. Why is that?
I was confused. I was uncomfortable. My head was pounding. I told them so many times about my head, and I told them that I couldn't think straight because of it.
During cross-examination, the prosecution bombarded Melissa with questions about her drastically inconsistent statements.
Today, in 2022, you now claim you had some kind of head injury, correct?
Yes.
And now, in 2022, you speak of some kind of blackout, correct? Yes?
Correct.
Okay.
She was also questioned about the things she was heard saying on the surveillance camera footage.
You said 4:33 a.m. So effing die, right?
No, I have no recollection of that. I explained my side and why I did what I did.
You're crying right now. Is that what's happening? Are you crying right now?
Do you know what tears look like?
Are you crying because you can just cry on cue?
I'm crying because my life is on the line right now. I'm crying because I still remember all those places, all those feelings.
The defense also called the medical examiner to the stand. They stated that in their report, Matthew's blood alcohol level was so high at the time of his death that it was nearly 5 times the legal limit to drive in Florida. Although he wasn't driving anywhere, they suggested that this high level of intoxication, along with his mental health issues, caused Matthew to become erratic, unpredictable, and potentially dangerous. On February 18, 2022, after 5 days of testimony, Melissa Turner's murder trial wrapped up.
Your duty is to determine if the defendant has been proven guilty or not in accordance with the law.
The jury deliberated, and after 7 hours, they reached a unanimous verdict.
Publish the verdict and poll the jurors, please.
We, the jury, find as follows as to the charge. The defendant is guilty of murder in the second degree.
Melissa Turner was found guilty of second-degree murder using a weapon. Her sentencing hearing was on March 18, 2022. Before his sentence was given, Matthew's mother provided a touching impact statement to the court.
Believe it or not, I don't believe that your greatest crime is having murdered Matthew, but actually it's what you've done to his memory in the aftermath of his death in order to preserve your own life. The story that you have contrived has caused me as much pain as his death. If Matthew's drinking was escalating and he was depressed, it was because of a lifestyle that you involved him in. It was not consistent with who he was and with the way that he was raised. If anyone was a victim of domestic violence, abuse, and manipulation, sadly, it was Matthew.
Melissa's mother also spoke to the court. She defended her daughter, stating that Melissa was a good person who always tried to avoid conflict.
This jury did not believe her claims of self-defense, nor does this court.
Melissa Turner was sentenced to 20.5 years in prison. Following her sentencing, Melissa spoke to the court one last time. She tearfully expressed how much she loved Matthew. It never meant to her.
Matthew lost his life, and I lost the man that I loved. I didn't want to do that to him. The last thing that he wanted, and I knew it because he always tried to hide everything, his drinking, his mental health, and how depressed he was. He tried to hide it from everyone. The last thing that he would want was for the world to know any of it.
Melissa currently resides at the Lowell Correctional Institution in Marion County, Florida. She is set to be released in 2042.
looks like, and the control, feel free to chime into my ear, correct me if I'm saying this incorrectly. That is Luigi Mangione. He has just been loaded into the back of this police SUV.
One
And he is
innocent.
now being driven off out of that courthouse in Pennsylvania. That is just happening now. It's happening as you're watching it. The suspect in the murder of Brian Thompson, the healthcare CEO at United Healthcare, that is Luigi Mangione right now in the back of that police SUV, presumably on his way back to New York as he has just waived his right to, I guess, protesting extradition.
Thousands of feet above sea level, on the deadly slopes of Mount Rainier, 4 daring climbers met a nightmarish fate. After a stunning accident, all 4 came within inches of plummeting to their doom. But tragically, the ordeal did not end there. A bold rescue mission soon saw the dangers increase and disaster struck once again. So with
The black helicopter.
that, let's take a closer look at the 2012 Mount Rainier tragedy. I guarantee you'll be surprised by the twists and turns of this crazy story. From the dangerous mountain where it took place, the wild accident that started things off, and most of all the tragic surprise that came later, when everyone was least expecting it. Keep in mind that this is all very real and pretty disturbing. So as always, Viewer discretion is advised. To understand what happened that day and the insane degree of danger that was involved, you have to know a bit about Mount Rainier and what makes it so distinctive. The mountain is located in central Washington, in the Cascade Range, about 60 miles from Seattle. The mountain has been known by many names over the years.
Soften you up. Hello?
Belong.
Yeah.
I transferred already, so you go shopping, okay? For Nina and you.
Okay, thank you.
This from me and your brothers.
Okay.
Okay? Let me know.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Oh, Steve.
One. Three. One. I knew there was a Palkia in the back. You can probably funnel this down. Oh my god. Dude, I could possibly hit legend. Hello?
Hey, Tyree.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, everything's good?
Everything's good for now. Got into an argument with Nina's dad, but I think it's all right now.
Yeah, I overheard that. So I just, the reason I call is, because the situation that you guys have. So I talked to Nina, so I just tell her to be patient and you to be patient with Nina dad and moms because this Nina mom have a sickness and also just her dad also have high cholesterol and diabetes that make the pampers to be hard pampers instead of cooler temper like normal persons. So they take things very like abnormal at the moment. Just tell you guys to be patient, and my suggest is, when you guys be shut down, just took move out to you guys can have a light outside better than stay with because you and Nina are younger generations and they're older and they're more Vietnamese style than you guys are, outlooking attitude. So I think it's best for a guy, to move on to have your own life,
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah.
Yeah.
So to be outside, you can go. Nina can go home and taking care of her parents without a headache. I heard Nina say that between you and Nina have no big problem with argument is the argument is because of the some things that affect you guys. So to avoid that, I think it's best for you guys trying to move on, and then then Nina can come back and take care of the parent. If you guys live together, your side have headache, her parent have headache. So you guys sleep in the same house, but it look like too much pressure.
Yeah, I told Nina that like there's going to be arguments, there's going to be disagreements and whatnot, but there's no reason to like break up the whole family or break up the relationship or move out. I told her that I understand there's a language barrier and cultural differences, and I told her that well, we're all adults. We're mature enough to work through this, and like I know like there has to be like a compromise. And I told Nina that you don't have to move out from your parents, because I know your parents are getting old, and eventually they're gonna need help just like taking care of themselves. So I told Nina that like I'm fine just trying to, like I said, like make compromises, and like I don't hate anyone. It's just that there's I don't know. There's always going to be like differences, and we just have to settle them. And I think overall it's just a miscommunication. I'm not sure what Nina told you, but like I was like very concerned about like the cockroaches in the kitchen, like the silverware. They're always like crawling over the silverware, and I was just getting concerned. So I wanted to move the silverware to the another area of the kitchen where there isn't any cockroaches. And I guess her dad thought like I was trying to use my like powers to like reorganize the kitchen. I was like, no, I'm just trying to make sure. Yeah.
I heard what Nina parents talked to me the day after you guys, and then I heard from Nina's side.
I do have to apologize that I did lose my cool when
in your situation, there will be something that you have to talk about. Is because your concern is their health, but what their understanding and what they're thinking is out of your control of what they think about you and what you're doing, no matter what. It's just between the misunderstanding between you guys. So no worry about that. For the cockroach, I have the treatment already at my house. A lot of that. When I use that spray, it's gone forever.
Yeah, Nina told me about that.
So this weekend I'll bring it up, and then so for Nina and Nina parents, I'll take care of it. I just don't want you guys. And Nina told me, how your guys' relationship. I never heard. I never, she love you a lot. So she don't want and be between you and her parents. But after I heard from Nina, I saw her, I heard her say that, I'm like, okay, let me talk to Perry. So maybe tell you, maybe you don't understand what happens. I want to, calm you guys down in between, The thing is yours difference, Nina parents difference, but when Nina see you, she see her future in you already. So she want to build a future with you. But in another hand, she's the only child, is that right?
Yeah.
So she have her responsibility at our culture. I don't say other culture. With the parents, the mom, because my sister's sick, and all that.
Yeah.
I've been to probably before.
I told Nina that I'm totally fine with just staying here, but eventually I told her it's her choice. If she wants to move out, then that's fine. But like I didn't talk to her about this yet, but if we do move out, just try to stay like close. That way she still can support her parents. Like I moved out, and my brothers, they can support my mom and dad, but here Nina's main concern is that she has no one or her parents have no one if we move out. So yeah.
No, what I say is not like move out for the moment, so the parents can learn the granted thing that have a child with them is they can rethink about, okay, have Nina in her house, their house is the best because the loneliness, the support, everything, But when you stay in there, they will not like, oh, okay. They were like, well, you without this, they will not appreciate what Nina are. And also, to save you guys relationship, you don't want to be day by day, week by week arguments inside and break the fact. And it continues like this. It's easy to break a family apart.
Yeah.
Or a relationship.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to go home working 8 hours and then arguments and all that is that right? And then you don't want to like go home and then you live in one house and you go home, you don't feel like home. You're just hiding inside your room.
Yeah, that's bad too.
That's what I'm saying. So the best thing is the reason I call it is just so you got youngs, there's their attitude already. Be patient. I know you understand. I just talked to you. I haven't talked to you that much already, but when I talk to you right now, I know you understand. The way that you talk, I know you understand the situation already. I'm very patient. Thanks for that, though. But that's how life is, and then how you go into a different culture.
Yeah.
You learn something.
I learned a lot because previously.
You see, I told my sister and my brother-in-law, like, hey, I already have a different culture, and you expect him to adopt a Vietnamese culture right away when they become part of your family? That's impossible. How about you put yourself in his shoe and he want you to adopt his culture?
Yeah, like growing up, I mainly been to like a bunch of Filipino parties and black parties, but I've never I've never been to like Vietnamese gatherings and whatnot. So yeah, it's definitely a culture shock for me. So I'm slowly improving, and I mean no disrespect to anyone in the family. I'm just trying to.
I'm telling you that because the reason my brother and my sister are honest because they've been through a lot of things that be under the grounds for a long times, and what they have right now is to work their ass up. And everything they're seeing is like protect. I cannot just let other people, my kid had to be good, my house had to be this and that, because they've been through so much.
Yeah.
That's why their attitudes toward, but, I talked to my mom, my parents, always agree, we all agree. My sister, very similar to my dad, she's have her very strict rule. It's hard for me as a brother, I talk to her, I still argue with her because, how she work, but, she really improved. But, just call, just let you guys know that no matter what, I know it's hard to build a relationship. I've been through it. I've been through you guys, in you guys' shoes.
Yeah.
I know it's very hard to find 1.5 of your. And when you find it, try and keep it, and don't because of small things that affect. So be calm, be patient. Everything should be fine. After if God planned for you already, there will be a plan for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
yeah,
take
you're right.
it easy. I don't think it's big deal enough to to like boom. Oh, you don't do this, I don't that. No, what talk to you, I understand. You understand that. It's not a big deal. And then I might understand that you've been to such situation more complicated than this before. So so hang in there, man.
Yeah, thanks.
And then you have, you be part of us already. You have, us as a family. We, no matter what, just if you need, just talk over. We can help out too. As long as you can be happy and have a family. Nina is one. Nina with me and Lynn with my family. She's more than just a granddaughter and me. You have to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
She's, she's more. We protect her more than others kid. So whenever a situation with her, we very timid. Because we're growing up together,
Yeah, whenever we go down to Southern California to visit my family, they always tell me to watch over Nina and make sure she's safe and protected.
Yeah, so we're happy. Like when Nina find her happy, she's happy with it. We're happy too. So anything, like I say, anything can be a result. And then I ask you for your patience. And I think that the best way is next year when you settle down, you guys should move out for a moment. And then find, when you guys settle down, everything's, she can still take care of her because you guys live close by. But if you guys live together for a long time and arguments, big thing might be happening in the future. Maybe you cannot settle down. And then from there, it's very complicated. So after you settle down, I might suggest you guys, I told Nina the same. You guys should, go out, but not go out. Go out, but close by to take care.
Yeah.
And you guys still be happy each other. But you guys live together in one house. Might be in one day that thing cannot be settled out anymore.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I told Nina that I'll follow her, so she has the final call. I'm okay with whatever she decides.
Now it's you that need to be focused. Good luck on your work, Lam, and then I look forward for your success, man.
Yeah, and I can't wait for my graduation ceremony. My family will come up here, or at least my mom and my dad and my brothers. So you'll be able to meet them too. So they're really nice. I can't wait.
For our culture, after marriage, two family are like one. So we treat each other as like friend and families after. But you don't know that how happy we is at especially my dad and my mom. When Nina find you, we always say, Tony and I like, this is it is, protect it. You cannot find, So I really appreciate what you have done to me now, okay?
Thank you.
And if you have some things you need to talk to or any help, just if you don't have no money, you gotta call. Give me a call.
Yeah,
or you need to go out to have a beer and man talk, we could be there.
Okay, I'm always open for that too.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I've been through a lot of things, so I know. So,
all right.
So, okay, just be patient, huh?
Okay.
Take things easy, and then you understand their parents, how their sickness thing, and then they have hard tempers, and then miscommunication between culture that caused a problem right now at the moment. So.
Yeah.
So
we'll be in San Jose on Saturday, so for the party.
Yeah. I will see you the Saturday.
All right. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
sitting on $5 million in cash and competing for it. Open gates! Are these two promising contestants? What you are witnessing is just the start of something never before seen in history. 2,000 people are about to battle in a series of trials for exploiting my I am sitting on $5 million in cash and competing for it.
What's up everyone, I'm Cal Montes, and in today's video I'm going to showcase
is justly assigned to this dog abuser who hits the pavement hard.
Seeing some very rare footage of my own gameplay in the Open Master League, since for the most part I am a free-to-play player and I would generally prefer to spend my resources elsewhere. However, Melmetal got a buff this season with Thundershock dealing more damage, and is one of the, well, it's basically the only legendary / mythical Pokemon that's very easy to obtain XL candies for, so I was actually able to build one. Now, I did, of course, showcase Melmetal in the Fantasy Cup a few days ago, so I was trying to look for a different focal point for today's video, and I decided to go with Tyrantrum, since a few weeks ago during the Wild Area event, I was able to catch a 100% IV, very high level Tyrantrum in the wild, so I figured I don't have to power up too much, and maybe we can just shut down Ho-Oh with this Pokemon, since it does either resist or double resist Ho-Oh's typical moveset. Now, unfortunately for me, since I don't really play the Open Master League at all, I don't really know what teams I'm going to be facing, and as it turns out, a lot of people like to run Ho-Oh in the lead rather than in the back as a closer, so I just wasn't able to align my Tyrantrum to very many Ho-Oh at all, which was obviously not very good. And then as well, if I didn't see Ho-Oh, like Tyrantrum was just completely useless. You can see I'm running it with Earthquake. I did not want to run Earthquake. Crunch is definitely the move that you need because you just need a cheaper energy charge move than the Meteor Beam, which is a great move, but of course it does take a while to get there. And unfortunately, I'm just really struggling with charge TMs right now. I've done a few raids over the past few days, and I did use a few TMs. I got Stone Edge, which is redundant with Meteor Beam. Then I got Outrage, and then went back to Stone Edge, then went back to Earthquake, and I ran out of TM. So I cycled through everything aside from Crunch, which is really frustrating. And you will see in these battles, Crunch definitely would have helped me to win a few more battles than I did. So that is definitely disappointing. But I will say, Melmetal and Gyarados did actually put in a ton of work. They basically had to carry Tyrantrum because it was completely useless. And I would recommend, as a cheap team, you could run Melmetal and Gyarados together and just run a different dragon type in the back that isn't called Tyrantrum, and you'd have pretty decent success. But anyways, with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What is the most useless Pokemon you've ever powered up to level 50? Let me know in the comment section down below. And with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Let's go into the first battle, leading Melmetal into Ho-Oh. So this is the target for my Tyrantrum.
queue times are getting longer. Hey Google, snooze for 10 minutes.
Okay, all right. I've snoozed the alarm.
So unfortunately, it is in the lead. So I'm going to swap into my Gyarados straight away, and we're able to bait out a Xerneas. Now, this is where, obviously, running Gyarados in that safe swap position is going to be good if you've got a Dragon type in the back, because we are on Dragon Breath. This is not a great matchup for us. However, it is much better than if we were running, say, a Dragonite or any other kind of Dragon type Pokemon that's going to take super effective damage from this Xerneas. Now, we're going for Aqua Tail. Number 2, the opponent will start to use a shield, because at this point, honestly, I might be able to flip this matchup here if we can land another Aqua Tail. Now, honestly, I don't know how much damage we're going to take from this Xerneas. Also, I'm realizing, well, at the time I didn't realize this, but this is a severely under-leveled Xerneas. The thing is, with the Open Master League, like, you will, unless you're like really at the high ranks in the Elo bracket, like, you are not going to face like level 50 Pokemon all the time, and we're actually able to barely not flip that matchup there. But because the opponent swaps out, this is perfectly fine. We're aligning the Tyrantrum here. The opponent goes for a Brave Bird. Brave Bird still does like nearly 50% of our HP. And since we're not running Crunch, I'm not going to make it to a charge move. So instead, we swap into our Melmetal, catch the next Brave Bird. They are now quad debuff in their defense. We get the Thunder Shock farm down. The opponent's going to come in with the Necrozma here, and this is still going to be a pretty awkward matchup for us. We're going to go straight for Superpower here. Superpower, not going to do that much damage, and each time we throw it, we will unfortunately debuff our attack and our defense by 1 stage. But we're just going to wait for the opponent to try and make a catch. They go for the catch there. I'm now going to swap into my Tyrantrum here as the opponent throws a charge move straight away. They go for the Sunsteel Strike, meaning I can go straight for a Superpower, and from this range, Superpower is enough damage to take out Necrozma, and I'm able to take that game. So GG to opponent there into the next battle, and I will say that was basically the best thing that Tyrantrum did, which is pretty embarrassing because it still struggled up against the Ho-Oh since I didn't have a cheaper energy charge move. But either way, into the next battle, we see a Rhyperior here, and this honestly is a bit of a core breaker. However, since we are running double Iron Bash, it's not that bad for us because I can land 2 of them. And if the opponent stays in this matchup here, I will just go for another double Iron Bash. I will grab the first shield from the opponent. And if they commit to a full farm down, I'm going to make it to another one here. So the opponent has to double shield. They're going to be obviously down 2 shields now, but they do have a ton of energy. So this one, I realize Tyrantrum is useless, so I might as well just fully sacrifice it. They're going for Breaking Swipe. We actually tanked that reasonably well. I'm not going to lie. We're going to let the next one go through. They go for Breaking Swipe once again. We snipe with the Gyarados, and the opponent comes in with a Togekiss, so it's not really looking too good for us here. However, we do have a 2-shield advantage, so we're going to fire off the Aqua Tail here. We will need 3 Aqua Tails to take out this Togekiss, unfortunately, meaning we're basically going to come out of this matchup with very minimal HP and as well, like no energy whatsoever. However, we are going to shield. We are going to fight here. We don't know what's in the back. It could be something like a Groudon. For all we know, we're going to go for another Aqua Tail here. And Aqua Tail will be enough damage to get rid of the Togekiss. And they've actually got a Mudshot Garchomp, and this is one of the best things we could possibly see. However, if they are on Sand Tomb, it will get very dicey. And the opponent is on Sand Tomb, so that is not ideal for us in the slightest. Going to fire off an Aqua Tail. They're going to fire off 2 Dragon Breaths. Swap, and I'm able to catch a Sand Tomb onto my Tyrantrum. That is huge for me. The opponent does undercharge it, however. They get the farm down, but I'm still able to Dragon Breath, farm them down with the Gyarados, and I'm able to take that game. So GG to opponent there into next battle. We're going to see a Dialga in the lead. So honestly, don't really know how to play this matchup here. It's a bit awkward for us because if I go for back-to-back superpowers, then, well, the opponent probably going to shield one of them, in which case 2 superpowers won't quite get the KO. And now, since I've debuffed my attack and my defense, Roar of Time does huge damage there. but we can still fire off superpower number 2. The opponent actually doesn't bother shielding, so that's okay with me. We're now going to swap into our Gyarados, and the opponent has a Mewtwo. So at this point, I know I can live a Side Strike. It's going to do quite a lot of damage here, but I'm going to no-shield the first charge move. I'm going to fire off the Crunch. I probably could get away with just going for an up-tail bait. However, Crunch does have a chance to debuff their defense. However, we do not get that debuff. So at this point, I'm thinking, you know what, Tyrantrum might be able to go for a huge Dragon Tail farm down, and surely the energy is going to be useful into anything they've got in the bag. So we are going to wait for the opponent to throw. They throw straight away, so I'm assuming they're going to do the exact same thing once they reach the next Side Strike. So we're going to swap as we reach a Meteor Beam there, catch the charge move onto my Melmetal. Side Strike gets the KO. We're going to go for the Dragon Tail farm down, but they've got Rhyperior in the back now. We are running Earthquake. I might as well full send it, and Earthquake does.
Wednesday has a lot of time. Launches. The pool party has just begun. Flat out, get it done. Recognizing the clock dwindling down. Oh, cool. And Clarkson fall down and then hit the 3. Clarkson bit the dust that's handled. Top clock down to 10. Moves afterwards. Jordan Poole! And he's down. Wow. A lot of flexing first defensively. Draymond Green, the confrontation at the rim.
Jason Plumlee is in, has the ball, works on Poole, stripped of the ball. Here comes Poole. Marquise Chris will take it in.
Beautiful look-away pass there by Poole.
They cut Chris that re-signed him. There's an offensive foul.
Before the vacation they had, hopefully they got some sun.
There you go. So Spellman to Poole to get the foul. That's my goal. And your plus minus is back to 10. It's back to 10, baby. So we're going to have to review that because I want to see it all before the line. It looked good to me. It looked good to me. Poole's got the open three, but that's still the offensive rebound. Another opportunity. Poole setting the back door. Ooh! Flipped it up and in and got the foul. Talk about crafty finishes. That was one of them. After the offensive rebound. Great. Isaiah Thomas, you got to think about him. Jordan Poole, beautiful moves inside. And the foul. See, it's really tough to make those kinds of moves that close to the basket. A compact space like that. But down Oni out of the corner. And how about the defense there? 1 second to work with. Jordan Poole from beyond midcourt. Back it up! Back to them! It looked like he knew it was going in too. It was impressive as Steph Curry. Warriors switched that perfectly. Looney was going to be guarding the ball screen.
10 years in the NBA, Anthony Davis out of Kentucky. Look at the drive by Poole. Oh, track the sledgehammer. Flies high and lands hard. Inside.
Poole gets it off. Jordan Poole with a Steph Curry impression to end the first half.
Hey, Google, shut up.
The operation begins before dawn. Agents with ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, who asked us to conceal their identities, gearing up at a parking lot in suburban Boston. We're along for the ride.
We don't do large-scale roundups. Every individual that's here today has come to our attention because they've been arrested by a local municipality for a felony or an egregious crime.
So after several hours of waiting, they've just found one of their targets and we're on the move. When we arrive, we see an immigrant from the Dominican Republic who ICE says is here illegally and is a convicted sex offender. He tells me he came to the U.S. for a better way of life and denies the charges against him. He's led away in handcuffs. ICE agents have been watching this particular subject for at least a week. On this day, it took about 16 ICE agents to arrest 5 immigrants who ICE says are undocumented, have criminal records, and had been released on bail by local jurisdictions instead of being turned over to ICE, each requiring 40 to 80 hours of surveillance beforehand. Do you have enough resources to do this?
No, we don't. And that's one of the problems that, when jurisdictions don't cooperate with us, we have to go out into the community, which puts our officers at risk.
But these are the waning days of the Biden administration. President-elect Trump won, pledging to do much more, including mass deportations. And after Democratic city and state officials vowed to block Trump's deportation plan, incoming Border Czar Tom Homan is doubling down with this warning.
If they cross our line and knowingly harbor and conceal illegal alien, well, I'm going to seek prosecution.
I'm concerned of what a mass deportation would look like.
Attorney Valerie Napier is an immigrant advocate who says calls to her clinic have tripled since Trump was reelected.
What do you say to those people who voted for Donald Trump and wanted a crackdown in the immigration system?
And not everyone is a criminal.
We pressed ICE about its current mission. There are some who fear that ICE will also arrest immigrants that here that may not have criminal records. To that, you say what?
To that, what we're focused on is obviously public safety, national security threats. But then there are those too that have exhausted all legal means